What's up, everybody? We're doing a little side project today. So instead of working on my car like I usually do, I thought we would work on my little Honda Grom a little bit, since you guys seem to like the Grom content. It is raining outside today, and Pancake, my sweet baby Lou, over there is sleeping. So we had to bring the Grom inside. Uh, so here it is. We got the Grom in the kitchen, baby. Did only have one jack stand because my other jack stand broke and buckled underneath my car. So if you don't believe that Harbor Freight jack stands will do that, yes, they will, and yes, you will die. So from now on, the only thing I'm ever going to use this jack stand for is going to be for holding up the Grom, because I mean, surely it can handle that, right? Hopefully. But yeah, don't put your car on Harbor Freight jack stands. Bike's a little bit wet, it's dripping on the floor, but it's hardwood, so we should be good. The goal of today, though, is going to be to get rid of this absolutely ridiculous stretch kit that's on this bike. This is how I bought the bike. It's how it came. It came with these really long swing arms on the back. I mean, this is where they start. Oh, you can't see it. This is where they start. So they literally go from here all the way to back here on the end. So, I mean, that's like, I don't know, like an 8-inch stretch or more. Like, I think it's about 8 inches. It's got a really long brake line. But, I mean, it's just way too much for my taste. And the issue as far as functionality that it's been causing me is that the chain keeps popping off of the sprockets. So I have been multiple times now heading to work or, riding to school, go to a local college. I'm taking classes to be an RN one day, hopefully. And on my way to school and on my way back from work now and on my way to work, 3 times now, total of 3 times, my chain has popped off. So I went ahead and broke that chain, took it completely off. That chain was kinking up really bad. It had a bunch of, kinks in it anyways. It was getting locked up. It was just an old, abused, and overused chain. I had taken, chain loop and chain grease, chain wax, and try to get it to loosen up. But I mean, some of those links were so tight and so kinked up that it literally, there was no hope. There was no saving it anymore. So I broke that chain off. So we have some new parts today that are going to replace all that stuff. And we got our Dunkachino over here. I'm not a heavy coffee drinker, but I do like caramel macchiatos from Dunkin'. That's about it. Okay. Oh, back on track. So we got a nice EK chain over here. This EK chain has actually a higher tensile strength than the stock Grom chain that you get from Honda, which is like a DP1 or something chain, I believe. This chain is not a crappy, cheap Chinese chain. It's a Japanese chain made in Japan. In Unuma chain, MFG. But yeah, so we're gonna actually put that kit probably on the shortest stretch, so I might have to break a couple of links off of this chain. I got all these parts from the Ruck Shop. It says the Grom Shop on here, but Ruck Shop is where I got it from. Shout out to those guys. They provide awesome parts. Everything's super high quality every time. Sorry, my stove is a little dirty. I was making lunch earlier. Or it was yesterday, actually. It's only 11 a.m. here. But yeah, they provide really high quality parts, everything billet aluminum, CNC milled, very nice. So these are going to be our new swing arms that are going to replace the old ones. There's the other one. You've got chain tensioning adjustment on there for both of those. You can, for like a few bucks more, throw in a couple of these little spool replacements. They even throw in a tool for you to adjust them. For the chain tension. These are the other bolts that you can put on if you don't use these, but we are going to use those. And what's really nice about the Ruck Shop is those guys even throw in a chain breaker tool if you want to, run it on a shorter setting, which, I mean, that's not something that they have to do, but, I mean, they go out of their way to throw in a chain breaker. I'm not sure if this is like a nice expensive one or anything. I mean, it just looks pretty generic, but I mean, it's not something they have to do. And their kit overall is like $250, $260, which is about like what, $50 cheaper or so than a lot of the other competitors that sell the exact same product, same swing arms, same everything, and they charge, you know, almost double for the same exact product, and they don't throw in a chain tensioner tool or even a chain. They don't even give you a chain, but I mean, these guys throw in a chain. So I mean, with all these other companies, literally all you get is the swing arms, maybe a tool, and a little guide for the brake caliper, and that's it. The only other thing I got from those guys is a little cramp buster thing, which this is going to go on the handlebar over here on the other side. I'm trying to bust my shins. I don't even have shoes on. Put my dogs out. This bad boy here should potentially slide over top. I might need to pull that off because I don't know if this is going to... Yeah, I don't think that's going to stretch enough to slide over that without me breaking it. So might have to pop that little collar off on the end of my handlebar here, which is fine. I'll piddle with that later, but basically that sits there, I think maybe right there or towards the end, possibly. But it sits on your handlebar and basically makes it to where you can just kind of rest your, pad of your thumb here, or the, your palm on it, and you can just kind of hold it down to keep your throttle pinned, while you're riding, and not have your hand cramping up, because if anybody whoever rides, that holding down that throttle constantly with it wanting to spring back, your hand starts to cramp after, let's say, 20 minutes or so. I also might tinker around with trying to fix my air suspension. Some of this wiring that came on this bike is absolutely bunk as hell. The bike right now, the switch isn't working. I don't know if it's the switch or if it's the solenoid. There's a solenoid down there, and it's not doing anything. I checked all the wiring. One of the wires are busted up here, but I fixed it, connected it back up. Still wasn't working. So it's either the switch or the solenoid. So I'm going to have to probably buy a replacement to fix that. But I can still air it up just by connecting the hot wire to the battery. It'll, put air in the bag, and then I can pull the line that's back here. It's just on a quick the connector, and I can just pop that in, and it'll, let all the air out of the bag. But yeah, nevertheless, we're gonna get started. So I think first step is gonna be to break some of these bolts loose, which I will get to here in just a second. Put some of these up so I'm not losing stuff everywhere. Okay, so if I come around to this side, I got a nice little Walmart flashlight here, which is flickering because of the camera shutter. But yeah, so I believe we gotta pull those guys out right there. Let's see. Let me pause you guys for a second. Well, it looks like I don't have an Allen key that fits in there. So I'm gonna have to look around in some of my tools and see if I can find a star bit or something else that fits it. But it doesn't make any sense because mine literally go from 5 mil to 6 mil, 5 to 6. And the 5 mil and the 6 mil, 5 mil is too small, so I put it in there. It's too small, just spins around, right? Not going anywhere. And then if I put the 6 mil in there, check, that was a 3/16, but I mean, nevertheless, I've tried both. Go up to a 6 mil, it don't fit. Does not fit in the dang hole. So I mean, what the hell? Neither size fits, so it doesn't make any sense. Whatever. So we'll focus on this for now. So we're gonna go ahead and just break this bolt. Oh. Might need 2 hands to do this. Maybe not. Got the power of God and Animator on our side. Yeah, the back bolt's just spinning. Okay, that's fine. So we'll pop this off, and I'm using a 19. It's a 19 for that side, and then for this side, that's too big. Probably what, 14? Yeah, it's a 14. So we'll slap our torque wrench. Ow, that freaking hurt. On this side, pardon me while I shuffle around. So you're gonna put your 19 on this end, like so. And you're gonna put your 14 on the other side, like so. Make sure you are in loosening position. Maybe put my knee down on there. Yeah, that'll work. So yeah, basically you're gonna go loosen that up. This is on the back of the swing arm. I'm basically just working on taking the wheel off. That's the goal here. Okay, cool. So that literally just fell off on its own. Okay. Instant disassembly. Amazing. Wow. Where did the bolt go? Oh, shoot. Can't cuss. No cussing on YouTube. Don't know where that bolt went. Did it literally? Okay. I found it. It was just underneath that little stool over there. So now that we got that off, we can sort of maneuver this bolt out, I believe. So let me do that real quick. All right, I might need to lift the bike up just a tad bit to pull that out. So give me just a second. Okay, so I got that off. If you just use a hammer and just like smack the axle just in the side, lift the wheel up a little bit, it'll give you enough to where you can pull it out. Whole thing just slides out like that. If you have a stock Grom, it's not gonna have that little block in there that slides into an aftermarket swing arm. So you can just grab that bolt and just kind of work it out and pull it out. Okay, so got all that out. The brake caliper, I believe, just falls right off. You might have an extra bolt to take off on your stock swing arm if you've got one to pull it off. But after that, you should be able to just pull the wheel back. It should just come right off. I'll lean mine up just a little bit so I can get up, pick it up. It's not as heavy as I thought. Just don't want to put it somewhere where it's going to be in the way. So I'll just set it down here. That way it's not bumping into anything. There we go. And we'll just stay there like that. All right. So now I'm going to need to go and find a star bit or an Allen key tool to fit in there so I can pull those stock boys. They're not stock, but they're boys nevertheless, to pull those out. So we're going to set that there for a moment. I'm going to have to figure out a way to make that brake line shorter too, because that brake line is meant for the stretch kit. So I'm going to have to kind of maybe bundle it up somehow a little bit. That way it's not in the way, because I do not have the stock brake line for this bike. Something I didn't know to begin with as well, this bike already has a drop link on it too. So apparently the stock mounting position for your shock is right here. That makes sense. I know there's not a lot of light right there, but yeah, it's where that top bolt is right there. So that's where your shock would typically bolt up to, and this bike has this added drop link here, this metal piece bolted into where the stock location is for the shock, and it's actually moved down here, so you can see kind of a couple inch drop there where it drops that link down. So potentially, if I were to get rid of the air suspension, which I've considered, and just get a shock for it, get like a progressive coilover or something, I can put it in its place and it will already lower the bike like 2 inches because of that drop link that's already on there. And then I wouldn't have to worry about bags anymore. Which, I mean, I do like the bag, but something that scares the crap out of me too is, I mean, what if, if that bag were to blow up while I'm riding down the road, or it popped, I mean, the bike would literally sit down on the ground. It would sit down on the ground and I would fall off and die, and that's not fun. So yeah, might consider getting rid of the air suspension. I know how to get it off. I could just pop a new shock in there. Drop link's already there, so the bike would already, be low anyways. So yeah, definitely something that I might consider doing for the future. So yeah, let me go see if I can go find a star bit now to get those two out so we can slide these swing arms out and work on putting our new ones in. Okay, so I'm a little out of breath. That was exhausting. Okay, I went ahead, we left off on getting those bolts out, so I went ahead and pulled both of those out. Turns out that I was an idiot and I just wasn't pushing hard enough. So it is a 737. It's on a SAE standard scale, not a metric. So it's a 7/32. That's what goes into those bolts to pull them out, and they were Loctited in there, so they were very hard to get out. But I was able to remove them, so they're gone now. 7/32 is what removes them. Focus. There we go. So got those out. The swing arms were a little bit of a pain to pull out. This one slid right out. This one was not coming out, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't coming out until I realized that, hey, maybe It's literally just this aftermarket stand that's bolted onto the swing arm. Might be like squeezing that tube just a little bit too much to where I can't pull the swing arm out. So I loosened it, and sure enough, it came out. So here is our stock aftermarket swing arm that came with the bike when I got it. And then here are going to be our new ones. So these are also adjustable too, as where these were not like length adjustable. These are. So these, if I line them up, you can see just how much shorter they are. So they're like literally half the length of the ones that are currently on the bike, and they're adjustable. So if you want, you can put them on this first bolt, and that'll leave them on the longest setting, or you can put them all the way in, and it'll put it on the shortest setting. And I believe that bolt goes on top. So let's put this to the side. Garbage, in the famous words of TJ Hunt and Calvin. These are going to go on here, so they slide right in. Oh, that's nice. Super easy. Didn't even have to force it. And if you want, you can put them just on that first hole, to where that first hole lines up. So you'd be like right about there. So that would be about how long it is. But I mean, comparing that to what was on here, if I hold one of those up, that was our shortest setting. So that's the longest setting on the new ones. That is the normal forced setting on the old ones. So you can see they're literally like half the length, even on the longest setting. So if I put them all the way in, and we go to that first bolt right there, that's our difference. Yeah, it's pretty freaking insane. So we got rid of all that length, and now all we have is that. So next step is going to be just to bolt these in, I believe. So let me grab the bolts that I've got sitting up here. Why do I still have shoes on? And it's freaking hot in here. I do not work well under hot conditions. It might not even be that hot in here. Nope, it's 71 in here. I'm stupid. I don't know. It feels hot. It's irritating me. I get mad when I'm hot. Anybody else get mad when they're hot? Or if you get like hurt, you get like hit, or you're in pain, you just get angry at yourself? Okay. OCD. Distraction. So I believe these are the standard bolts that come with it if you are to use those, but you can pay like an extra $6 to get these instead. So I'm going to be using these. This is going to be our brake guide, and that is going to be for our adjustment. I believe that's all we need right now. The rest is just a chain breaker to make that chain shorter. That should be everything. So now we are going to towards the other one. Oh, the other one is right here. So we're going to go ahead and slide him in. And let's see, what's that? I guess that's our shortest. Can I use, see, here's my question though. I'm wondering if I can use that one bolt. If I can just like bolt it in with just one, or if it's supposed to be with two. If I only put in one bolt there. Well, no. I have to do only one bolt because those come with two each. These only come with one. And it's a heavier duty bolt. These are puny. You can see the size difference. Yeah, so that's what was on it. And it uses two of those to go into that little block slot. Or it's not a block slot, but swing arm slot. And then this one uses a much thicker bolt. So I guess we can just go by one hole. So if we slide it all the way in, that's going to be our shortest setting there. That's about 2 inches out. That's kind of how I want it anyways. So we're going to go in all the way, just like that. That should be much better for what we're looking for. And then now, put in this guy. I'm not 100% sure how this is supposed to go, but I believe. Oh no, I might need to move that up a little bit, but it's already loose, so that's okay. So I think this guy slides in right there. Yeah, yes it does. Okay, very nice. Cool, so that'll go there. That kind of keeps it situated in place. Yep, it falls out. So that bolt's gonna go through there. we'll put the nut on the other side and tighten it real quick. So let me do that real quick. Alrighty, so I went ahead and put those in there and slid the bolt in. This little piece goes right over. Let me get us some light real quick so we can see. Yeah, so this little piece, this little block goes in the slot. Put your bolt in on this side. It is a 10 millimeter Allen. Put it in there. Bolt goes on the back side. Tighten it up. I don't have any Loctite right now, so I did not put any on it. But I did torque it down to spec, which is about 60 foot-pounds. So they are tight as far as I know. On your non-chain side, so on the brake caliper side, you do have this brake caliper guard. So that actually goes over the bolt, and then you put your caliper guide on there, bolt on top, and you tighten it up. And then that little notch on that caliper slides right in there, just fits in there nicely. Just slide that in there, line that up, and we're gonna roll our wheel in and slide the axle back through, tighten everything down. I think so. Wish I had a stand to put the camera on. Maybe, just maybe. Bear with me. Bear with me. How's that? Does that look like shit? Yeah, it'll work. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna take our wheel now, slide it into place. Move that out of the way. So that's all tightened down. As far as those bolts are concerned, I'm gonna take our wheel, put it in. Make sure your spools are still on. So these guys are spools. They go into the side of the wheel, right where. Just kind of tap them in a little bit. They go right where the bearing is. So just give those a nice gentle tap to go in there. Grab your caliper. Put it in that little guide there. And you're going to roll your wheel in. Make sure your rotor goes into the caliper. You're going to slide this down here. And then from there, you're going to grab your axle right here and make sure you've got your washer on this side. And you're going to start sliding it in. Like I said, the spools like to fall out sometimes, so that one actually fell out. So we gotta try that again. Is that in the guide? Go into your home. Maybe it's in now. I think it's in now. Just trying to feel for it, make sure it's in there. Which I believe it is. There we are. Now we can start working our axle in. This is easier if you don't already have brake caliper in, but do that. Anyways, I'm gonna finagle this for a minute and hopefully be able to pop it in there. I might need to move that stool out of the way so I can get it in. Okay, so I got it in there. I just needed to move that stool out of the way a little bit. But now that it's moved, I was able to slide the axle through the rest of the way, slip our washer on and the bolt. I will have to take the bolt off after I put the chain on, just so I can put my license plate bracket back on there, because since I air it out, it would squish that plate. So I have it just axle mounted back here like that. Plus it looks pretty cool. That's what that other washer is for. So now we are going to get our chain, and we'll probably have to break it since it is going to be needed to be shortened, because we are on the shortest setting. These I'm not going to be using, even though they come in the kit, and that is because we use these instead, and we got those extra. So I'm not going to be using those, which is fine. I did just realize something though, and I feel stupid. I'm assuming that this washer was supposed to go there. That's great. So now we're gonna have to take those out again to put the washers in. Okie dokie. So I guess I'll piddle with that for a minute, and then we'll work on figuring out the length of our chain, how short it needs to be. That way I can slip it through and get it on there. Okay, so now my light died, unfortunately. Have another little one here. So basically, what I did is took the chain out of the packaging and take some pliers and you pop that little plate off of the side of this guy. You'll see it on the side of the chain. That's your master link. So you'll pop that little bracket off, and then that'll slide off, and then this guy will slide out of the back. It's just 3 easy parts. It's not too difficult to figure out. I couldn't really show that on camera, so that's what you're gonna do there. So afterwards, you're gonna take off your little chain cover right here. It's just 2 little 8mm bolts. So you'll take that guy off, and once you got it off, find broken pieces. What the fuck is that from? I have no idea. Oh, cool. Why did that break off? I have no idea. You guys see that? Wait, no, you don't. Right there. That literally broke off of the side of the block. And it's not close to any end in the motor or anything, so we're good, but that's annoying. I literally just loosened that chain cover, and that piece literally just broke off. That makes no sense. Why would that snap? It literally wasn't even tight. It was like finger tighten on there. Okay, well, I mean, we still have one more bolt to hold it on, so we'll be okay. So just leave your chain through there after you take that master link off, and then you're just gonna run it down to the back, and then you're just gonna look at how much shorter you basically need to make it, which I'll use the chain breaker to do. So right now we're about where we want to be. So now we're gonna figure out how we want that chain. You want to leave it a little bit looser than you think, and then use those to tighten it, which I'll show us here. I'll take this little tool that they include. You basically stick it in here after you loosen that little bolt there, and then one from the bottom, and take it and you'll just turn it, basically turn it back. You'll do the same thing on the other side, repeat the step, and it'll basically put tension in your chain. So I'm gonna go ahead and see how long I need that chain, and then we'll go ahead and break it if we need to. All right, so the way this chain breaker works is you pick your link where you want to go. I'm going to start off small, just work my way up. Tested as far as the bike airing out. It airs out just fine. Nothing's hitting anything. Looks like that shortest setting is fine. Kind of got the brake line figured out a little bit more over here as far as how I'm going to route it, because it is a really long brake line meant to fit that stretch kit. But here, you basically just squeeze this right here together, and it opens that clamp up. You line it up on the pin in there, and then you basically twist this guy around and around and around until it breaks that chain. So I'm going to break that real quick and see if it'll push that pin out. I'm going to need 2 hands to do it. Alright, so that took longer than anticipated. I split the chain, but I ran into an issue where that chain breaker that they gave me in the kit, even though I had everything lined up like perfectly, it ended up bending one of the pieces on the chain just on the side, or on that inner piece, making it to where that bearing in the middle was just like a hair off. So when I tried to put the master link back on, it wouldn't slide over. There wasn't enough clearance. Even with squeezing it together with pliers, I tried to straighten it out. No matter what I did, I was just making it worse. So eventually I just had to give in and break another link off of it. But what that caused is to where the chain wasn't technically as long as it needed to be, making it difficult to put it together. Eventually I wrangled it together and got it on. But now I had to set it to where it's on the loosest setting possible. So instead of being in the middle, it's all the way on the side here. And even with that loosest setting, that's how much tension is on the chain with the bike up in the air. Like, I mean, it's not like stupid tight, but it's pretty snug. Like, that's the only play that's in it, and I don't know if that's technically enough. With the bike on the ground, with it aired out, it's perfectly fine, and it's not tight at all. But with it aired up like this, it's pretty snug. Hopefully I don't run into an issue with that, but besides that, everything else is tightened up. Tighten that little grub nut, those from the bottom, just to make sure this doesn't move any. Got the axle nut tightened. Chain is on there, chain cover is back on there. It's a little loose because that one bolt piece broke off that I showed you guys earlier. But besides that, everything is all together and we should be good. My little license plate bracket here doesn't really, as far as like attaching it onto this side, it's not really working too well. Running into an issue where it's not, like, even with it clamping down, because this is now got a little overhang here, like this little lip, it's causing that washer to get smushed over it and bent like that, and making it kind of useless. It's rendered useless at that point, and it won't hold the right license plate bracket on, and it won't let me tighten it down to torque because it just keeps bending more and more and more. So I'm gonna have to relocate my license plate. Probably just slap it back here with a zip tie for now until I figure out a better solution. But yeah, hopefully that chain will be okay for now. Eventually, just for my personal comfort, I'll probably just order another chain for it and just pull that one off and slap a new one on there. That way I don't have to have that those adjustments on the back tighten this or loosen this as much as possible, with it still having a lot of tension on it. So we'll deal with that another time, but for now that should be it. Clean up this mess over here now that I've got on the floor, and clean myself because I'm filthy at this point. My gloves did pretty good though to keep my hands clean. And yeah, I'll take it outside and take it for a little rip. Hopefully it'll work a lot better now with this new chain on here. Yeah, that's really tight. I don't really like how tight that is. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. If you got any questions about it, or if you need help doing an install like this on your own, and you have any questions, or you get stuck trying to figure out what to do, just leave a comment, let me know, and I'll try to answer all of you guys. But I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.